Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. How are you guys? It is a snowy day in Minnesota. I've heard that a lot of parts of the United States and Canada are in a snow downpour or a snow blizzard or something. Our house is a winter wonderland. Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to my channel. It is Katie Joy. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, or press the bell for notifications so you know when I go live. If you are already a subscriber, thanks and welcome back. And to all my members that I see in chat, Destiny, Shauna Reed, Crazy Cast, Ashley, Tessa, A. Yergin. Let's see, who else is in there? I see you guys. Finn. So many of you have come up and shown, and if I missed one of you, I apologize, but welcome. And if you would like to become a member, please click the join button. I'll also be including a link in the description once this stream has finished. All right, you guys, so it's been a few days, and Derick Dillard has been spilling the tea. Derick is the husband of Jill Dillard, who is the second oldest daughter of the Duggar clan. I don't know how you can best describe this group of people other than a clan. So the Duggars have been on TV for years. They have had the 19 Kids and Counting, all the different iterations of that show. They have been a staple in the quiverful world. They are wildly active in the fundamental groups. They have been following a very problematic leader named Bill Gothard in the Institute of Basic Life Principles. He has since been ousted by the organization, but the teachings of Bill Gothard remain on that network. And interestingly, you should note that a lot of you have said you need to cover the Bates. They're not as bad as the Dillard, or they're not as bad as the Duggars. Well, Gil Bates is actually on the board of the Institute of Basic Life Principles and has been a party to lawsuits related to the way that they've handled certain situations regarding their treatment of women and allegations that have come forward about what men have done to women. So I wouldn't say that Gil Bates has clean hands either, and the Institute of Basic Life Principles definitely has very problematic practices in relation to women. And part of that is how they treat women who are the sad, I don't even know how to say it. When DV happens, when incidences of, I have to be very careful how I say this because YouTube does not like these words. When incidences of DV happens, when marital relations happen without the consent of the woman, when things that happen to a woman without consent happen, typically the way that this Institute of Basic Life Principles teaches is the fault of the woman. She either wore something that defrauded the man, she said something, she did something that provoked the man to do what he did, and it's never the woman's, it's always the woman's fault, it's never the man's fault, which really sort of should tell you why the girls from the Duggar family have been coached to believe that it wasn't really a big deal. And that why Josh has been really elevated by his parents as this like great kid, because hell, it's not his fault. His sisters defrauded him, right? It's always the girls that defraud the men. So obviously Derick Dillard has been leaking things on Instagram, talking about how Jim is the only one with a contract, talking about how they pressured Jill to continue filming, even though evidence came forward about Josh's previous indiscretions with his sisters. He also, if you remember, she was forced to sit on Fox News and be interviewed by Megyn Kelly, which is an extremely uncomfortable interview where she minimized what happened to her. She was clearly coached by what to say. He's consistently said over and over and over that this is TLC and Jim Bob are not playing by the rules. They're not paying the kids. The kids are basically forced into submission or threats of legal action to film, and it caused a lot of issues in his life. On Twitter, he said that it brought them to the brink of insanity being filmed, and they left the show because of the way that they were treated and forced to feel like they had to film in order to remain in the family. Well, notably, the Duggars have been ignoring this because that's what the Duggars do. The Duggars pretend like nothing ever happens. They ignore any bad press. They minimize bad press. They've denied that there's an investigation going on with the Department of Homeland Security. They said that there wasn't a raid when it was actually confirmed by the Department of Homeland Security that there had been action at a property related to Josh Duggar. So they consistently downplay everything and try to paint this very rosy image that there's nothing to see here, like ever. So fans are obviously starting to question this, rightfully so, on their Instagram. And they've started showing pictures from Christmas. And people are making comments like this: it's beyond sad that the rift between you all and Jill and her husband, I will keep you all in my prayers. There is no pain, hurt, or disappointment or disagreement that God can't mend. Follow Jill. What's going on? Like, follow Jill's husband. It's all fake for the camera. It's all about the money. Wonder where Jill was, thinking the same. No, they weren't. Go to Derick's page and find out why. So people are starting to cue fans in. Like, something's going on here. You need to listen to Derick. Where is Jill and her family? They had to have their own Christmas at home with friends. They seem to be having many family gatherings lately, but I'm just wondering why Jill is never there with her boys. Let Jill back in. Have you banned the Dillards from your house? Derick has said that he and Jill need JB's permission to come to the big house or be around the family. Is this true? What about Josh? Does the same hold true for him? Right? Think about that. Josh has always invited you guys. Always. And Josh isn't on the show. But Josh is literally at every event, except for this past Christmas. He was in Florida visiting Anna's family, but he was at Thanksgiving. They did that Michelle wrote that damn love letter to him for his birthday about what a great person he was. But that same love does not extend to Jill. Do we sense a hypocrisy here? Why aren't Derick and Jill allowed at your house without permission? This breaks my heart. I love your family. Please tell me this isn't true. I didn't hear about that. What's the reason? Derick said it's a response to a question on IG. Do you see her in any family pictures anymore? And she's not in family pictures anymore. I have been talking about this for months. If you follow my channel, you know that we have been talking about this for months. Derick is confirming what I have noticed for months, that Jill is never with her sisters in photos. The parents never share photos of her. They never talk about her. It's like she doesn't exist in relation to the Duggars. And then Jill has been doing things very publicly to separate herself. A lot of you guys were like, oh, it's just a haircut. No, Jill literally chopped off 14 inches of hair, and that was, in my opinion, a direct protest to the teachings of her religion that she grew up with, because Bill Gothard and the Institute of Basic Life Principles teach women not to cut their hair because they like their ladies to have long hair. And the curlier the better, which is why the Bates girls and the Duggar girls all wear long, flowing, curly hair, because that's what Bill Gothard likes and what they're taught to wear. And then, I don't know what to mention. I'm just curious what it is. He's just revealing this in bits and pieces. He said Jill isn't allowed to the family home if JB isn't there. And he said he has to get permission to go get Jessa while she was in labor. And Jessa and Jill are incredibly close. Think about that. Like, Jessa wants Jill at her labor. Jill has, she's a lay midwife. I wouldn't say she's qualified by any means to be attending a childbirth. But Jessa wanted her sister there, and Jill had to get permission to be with her sister at her sister's childbirth. I mean, think about that. These are grown women that have to consult their father to go to a birth. So much for the love of Jilly Muffin. Those poor grandkids, maybe Jim Brat's toxic ego needs to become less of a priority. So the perfect family isn't so perfect after all. Why are the Dillards banned from your house? Was the issues between y'all and Jill's husband worth not spending time with your daughter and grandkids on Christmas? I bet not. What a joke. I feel bad for Jill and her kids having to put up with this stupid crap. I do not understand why God would bless Jim Bob and Michelle given their rejection of Jill's family. Do good Christians reject their children and grandchildren because of the difference of opinion? Do good Christians retain monies earned by their children? Jill's courtship, wedding, and births were filmed and earned Jim a huge amount of money, which should have gone to her. Jim Bob will be held accountable for his greedy behavior. Wow, excluding Jill and her family, so much for your Christian ways. I can't imagine the amount of controlling grown children that goes on in your house. It is absolutely shameful, from Jana to Jill and beyond ridiculous. And I would agree. I mean, for heaven's sake, like, Jana is 29 years old. And because of the way that her father has tightly controlled this family, she's not allowed to leave the house until she's married. And she has seemingly rejected every option for any courtship, which tells me there's something going on with Jana that's making her not want to go into a courtship, whether it's a rejection of being forced to marry someone she doesn't want to, or being forced to go into a life where her uterus is her biggest commodity. Because the way that they believe is that women have to have the most children as possible. Women are supposed to stay home. They're not supposed to have a job. They're not supposed to do or have a say in their relationships. Once a woman marries, it's, God, man, woman. The woman really becomes subservient to the man. So I do think the fact that Derick is exposing this is really good. I think that he's also Jill in so many ways is she's cutting her hair off, which is a humongous thing. She's, talking openly about DV and encouraging women not to stay in marriages where it's involved. A lot of people speculated that was directed at her sister Joy, who many have suspected is involved in a relationship that involves DV. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that they simply cover up, and bad behavior which is taught through this organization. And a lot of you will say, well, you are just bashing people of believers. No, I'm not at all. But the Institute of Basic Life Principle is literally listed as a cult through the Cult Institute that covers and does all kinds of cult information. And everything that you read about the Institute of Basic Life Principles, when you go onto their website, it's not typical Christianity at all. It's legalistic, and it's controlling, and it's not faith. It's control it's the use of control got hidden around faith. That's what it is. It's not faith. I hope you guys understand the difference. And I don't think that this is an example at all of what Christianity looks like, because I don't know Christians that are like this at all. So I think the more that Derick talks, I think the more this is going to get exposed. And I think that part of the reason why so many people are listening now is because there was that, HSI investigation that went forward in November. And I think Derick may feel emboldened because he knows they are under federal scrutiny now. And so maybe he feels protected in being open and saying what's going on behind the scenes. I have a feeling that Derick and Jill know a lot more to what's going on, and probably know a lot about things that have been covered up in that home and in their financial dealings. It's been an open rumor and a very open allegation that Jim Bob has not been honest about his finances, nor has he been honest about his financial dealings. The brothers and him have been involved in numerous lawsuits. It's not at all a secret that these things are going on. It's more that it's been hidden from the public unless you pay attention. So I think as Derick continues to talk, we need to keep our ears open and we need to listen. And I think Jill's voice is so important in all of this. And I think Derick is being her voice when she doesn't maybe feel like she has one yet. And maybe she's still learning how to go about it. But with that being said, I would love to know what your thoughts are. Now, I will say that some of these videos are starting to get flagged because the Duggar fans, they don't like Duggar criticism. So if comments do get turned off, I apologize for that. Sometimes I have to turn them off while these videos get mass flagged by the Duggar fanatics. Because my last video about Derick got mass flagged by the Duggar fanatics. It got cleared up, comments are back on, but comments will all be held for review as well. We will not, please don't make discussions about certain topics. Do not bring up certain words. They will trigger lots of things on YouTube. So please share your thoughts, but be mindful about the words that you use if you do choose to comment. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram at Without a Crystal Ball, on Facebook at facebook.com/withoutacrystalball, and on Twitter at WOACB official. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, reach out to me there. Also, I have had a lot of people blocked. I know I have had a lot of people blocked due to issues that have been going on behind the scenes. And if you have been blocked on any of my social media, find a way to reach out to me. My email is withoutacrystalball78@gmail. And if you'd like to talk and get unblocked and re-engage, I'm totally open to it. All right, you guys, I'll be back in a little while with more. Bye.